Now I thought I'd do a little recap on what we did yesterday on trimming the hoofs. This is the report that the hoof trimmer makes, and it shows what he does. And so here you got the cow numbers for most of them. Some are missing their tags, or he didn't ask who they were. And then he marks, how many wraps he's used. This one is the shoes. That's them blocks that I showed there yesterday. And this shows what he finds on each cow. Now, like these two up here, he just trimmed them. There's no other problems with them. And you got here like 2A, 3A. You come down here, it's a list on what problems they have with the cows, and it goes on a scale of 1 to 3. You got mild, moderate, and severe. And A is for an abscess, B is bruising, C is corn. Erosion. I'm surprised he doesn't on this one that they put the block on. That one is 3 abscess. I'm surprised he doesn't have that as an erosion, because her heel is pretty much completely gone. I mean, it's as severe as I think it could get. Most guys wouldn't even have that cow here yet. But these are the different problems, warts, ulcers. Pretty much all I've ever had. This white line disease, I'm not even exactly sure what that is. We never had a case of that. We've had a couple with ulcers at times, but mostly I have problems with warts and these abscesses. And the abscesses are usually because they get a crack or something, they step on a rock and it gets wedged up in there. And it's basically like getting a sliver in your finger. It ends up getting infected and it swells up, and that's what causes problems. Overall, this is not bad. This is not what you want to see. I mean, last several years, usually if you have problems with warts, you continue to have problems with warts. There's things you can do to help prevent them. I've never had much luck with them. But, it's not really that good to see all these 2s and the 3s. But this is another reason why you trim cows. Like this 206 here, she was one just to trim. She wasn't really limping that bad. Her feet were overgrown a little bit. Instead of being the size of a cup, like on a coffee cup service, it was like the size of the saucer. So it just needed to be trimmed down. But he finds 3 feet with warts, and that's the difference in cows too. Like I said, she had 3 feet with warts and was hardly acting like she had a problem. But I've seen cows with a wart the size of the tip of your finger, and they're holding their foot in the air and walking like it's killing them. So I say we had 3 with abscesses, and they say this one here. This is one that we blocked. That one I showed her yesterday, and I'm surprised she even can walk. I mean, when we put a block on her, it helps her a lot. And let's see, how's that, an R? What the hell's R? Well, I guess that's a new one there. That's foot rot. It's 214, has foot rot on 2 feet, and I guess that's a wart. Oh, maybe that's an ulcer. Yeah. She has foot rot and ulcer on the one foot and foot rot on the other. But that's, like I say, what he does, he trims that out, cleans them out, and then he's got a paste. I'm pretty sure it's mainly copper sulfate. I don't know what they all got in it, but that's what he puts on these bandages and packs up in there and wraps it, and it helps. It's just like treating any other wound. He's putting stuff on it to help heal it up and clean the infections out of it. They're going to be more prone to it more often. You got to kind of watch. Being a wet environment like a barn doesn't help them much. But in the end, he used 6 wraps, 2 blocks, and we did 11 cows. And the total bill was $159. And I see what he charges was For 11 cows, $121, so it's $11 a cow. Wraps, he used 6 wraps, $18, so he charges $3 a wrap. And yeah, he's making money on that because that wrap that he uses is, you know, like $1 or $2 a roll, and he's using that on two cows. So, and he actually didn't charge me all either, because like here, he charged me 1 wrap on this cow, but he actually wrapped 2 feet. So I mean, he only charged me for 1. So I mean, and then them shoes or blocks, whatever you want to call them, they're $10 a piece, $20. So it was $159. And like I said, this is the second time I've had him out here this year. A lot of guys, they do, you know, the guy farmed about 120 cows. I think he goes over there once a month, and they do like 10 or 12 cows a month over there, so, or whoever needs it. Or maybe it's every other month, you know. So, as I say, getting these bigger farms, they do it on a monthly schedule and do groups of cows. You know, for as big as I am, I would prefer to do once a year, but it seems to be working out twice a year. You know, trim them up before they go out to pasture. And then usually about this time of year, we do it again, get the problem cows. But that's what we ended up there with yesterday. Now this is one I showed there yesterday with the block. And like I say, in the block, the heel on this foot is pretty much eroded in. I mean, it is bad. She abscessed this. She's had this problem for about 2 years, at least. And it's like the 4th time we've blocked her. And the goal's been just to baby her along to sell her, because I mean, most guys wouldn't even have her here at this point. But she's been milking good. She still milks pretty good. It was actually a surprise to see her up here this morning eating, because usually she's just laying down all the time. But they put the block on the other toe and raise that foot up. So instead of when she's walking, that she's putting all her force down on her foot, where she'd be stepping, you know, rocking on this side where the heel's all eroded out, puts more of the pressure on the other side. So she's actually only walking on that one toe to keep the pressure off this. And come on, let's go. Let's see you walk a little bit here. See, she's actually taking more than one step. I mean, she's still babying it, but no, like I said, she's walking pretty good right there. The other day, for the last little bit here, she would take 1 step and stop, and 1 step and stop, and 1 step and stop, and you'd have to prod her just about every move to make. Like I say, last night after you left, when I fed the cows, she was actually one of the first ones to get up and walk over to eat. So they say it's improved her mobility immensely. This is the one here we trimmed, was just going to trim, and they say she ends up with warts on 3 feet. So they say it's going to help her out quite a bit too. And I forget who the other one we blocked was. That one there we just trimmed. Yeah, that one there. Put an orange one on her. She was the first one. Let's go look to see. I mean, he wouldn't block it. Oh, she had, and there might even been that toe that he put the block on. When he trimmed the front of the toe off, there was actually a hole up in there. No, it was the other toe. That's why I blocked this one. There's a hole up in there. And that was an abscess too. I mean, he trimmed off quite a bit of the bottom of her foot. So that's, and then she has a wart too, I think it was. In fact, I know she has a wart, because I've been treating, I was spraying stuff on. You can see that blue underneath the bandage. That's some treatment stuff I was putting on it. I think it's just crap stuff you buy from the feed mill. I mean, it has no potency to it, really. But one of the things you can do to help with heel warts, and it actually helps with foot rot too, is you do a foot bath. And like I said, one of the main things they use is copper sulfate, is what really dries out the warts. When we built this barn, this is what we did here. This is, in theory, this is a double foot bath. What you're supposed to do is this one you put water in. This one you put the water with the copper sulfate in. So when they walk through here, they step in this one. It's supposed to help rinse their feet off. So you step in this one, they get a better dose soaked into their feet. And right there's at my toes a drain, and right here's the other drain. Problem with this is the guy that built it, the one that did all this concrete work, I don't know if he has a brain in his head sometimes, he poured this in multiple pores. So you got seams around here. This one I got to hold water. I had to caulk. I actually got like a liquid nail type adhesive and caulk these seams, and this one will hold water. This one, if you can see here, this pulled away from the floor, so there's a 2-inch gap right there. So you can't get this one to hold water at all. So, like I said, I forget how he did it, but he should have formed a box and suspended it here somehow and poured all this in one pour so it was seamless. You know, so I don't know what he was thinking, but like I say, I've done the foot bath. It helps some, but it really doesn't prevent much. I still have all kinds of problems. A couple of guys I've talked to recommended mixing formaldehyde with it. And there's some problems with that. That stuff is pretty potent. I mean, it stinks, it burns. And I guess that's where it helps them. It actually burns and maybe almost cauterizes them warts to kill them off. But it's, you know, it's a toxic. I mean, the copper ain't any better. It's a heavy metal, but it gets thinned out there too because they just drain it out and scrape it out with the manure. But formaldehyde, I actually did find a place here the other day where I could buy it at 5 gallons, but it's like $300 for 5 gallons. And I don't know just how much you mix with this, but most of the time I'm only finding it in 55 gallons. Well, maybe, yeah, because it's well over $1,500 for 55 gallons. I mean, the shit ain't cheap. So that's why I did have this other product. Comes in a packet, and you just throw it in one packet, 40 gallons of water, which about this holds. So you can see all the blue on the wall. I forget what it's a boronic acid, I think it's called. I think that's what its main ingredient is. But it's billed as, you know, I mean, you cows walk through there and it's blue clear up, you know, over their dew claws and stuff. I mean, you know when the cow's treated with it. And they say as long as the cow's foot is blue, it's working. And yeah, I can get, I don't have to change it maybe every 4 or 5 days. You know, you let them walk through this for about 3 days. You go about 3 days with nothing, and you maybe 3 days again or something. A couple days a week you're supposed to do that. I never seen any improvement with that stuff either. Like I say, all it does is turn the wall blue. The cow's feet all blue. Christ, I drain it out here, and when I scrape it out, I mean, the concrete's all blue across there for days. So I find the best thing is, and you get 4 or 5 of them. You usually got some other ones that need trimmed up, and you just get the guy out here and trim them. So, but yeah, they just thought I'd show. That cow is a lot more mobile than she was. I mean, some of these, you know, they'll take a few days. You know, she ain't gonna get much better. I was actually surprised when he had her up on the table that her foot was as good on the bottom as it was. I mean, half her foot was gone the last time we trimmed her. Now, most of the underneath of her foot has grown back in, but she still has cracked, rotted groove along this outside and up in the back of her heel. You know, I'm sure it's down into the nerve and stuff. And as bad as it is, it's not going to grow out enough where she's going to be normal again. And like I say, most guys would have sold her a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, right after the first time they blocked her. But from what I saw there yesterday, I mean, she's been fresh almost a year now. I mean, from what I saw on her foot, I would almost breed her back again. But she is my oldest cow. She's probably close to 10 years old. So whether she would breed back or not, who knows? But like I say, it's one of my favorite pet cows and one of the best cows I've had. And like I say, I just hate to sell her for nothing. And if I can baby her along with them blocks, I'm going to do her for a while. I mean, she still can milk for another year. She might not milk 80, 90 pounds. She might only milk 50 pounds, but still feasible to milk her at that point. And that's the problem with these big farms nowadays. It all comes down to the numbers too much. You know, they sell more than what they need to. So, but yeah, like I say, I rambled on too long again. But like I say, that's what I wanted to show is what we ended up there with yesterday on the paperwork. And like I say, this is one of the cheap ones. Usually I'm up over $300 by the time he's done, but didn't have as many to do yesterday as we thought we did. Had one more I wanted to do, but she's a mean little bitch. Biggest baby cow you can find here. All she wants is petted and hugged and everything else, but you try to get her anywhere near that table. You know, a year ago, yeah, it was over a year ago, we tried to get her, and she pushed both of us around, bowled us over. She wouldn't go nowhere near the table. Then this spring, she was lamed up enough. She went to the table without much problem. And if you look at her now, her back feet, she's not standing on them right, and her feet are, instead of coming down like this when she walks, she kind of kicks them out like this. So you know she needs something trimmed, but we could not. She would get up in free stalls over there, and we could not get her out of there. We'd get her to walk. Would get her out, she'd walk up and get into the next one. And we just finally said, to hell, you want to be lame, be lame. I mean, it's, sometimes it gets to the point it's not worth the fight, but I guess I better start getting these chores done. I got to go haul silage today, which is going to kill my whole day. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.